Hello there. I'm going to make a few videos on some tips and tricks for my friends out there that are trying to make their own cutting boards. I prefer that you buy them from me, but I'm okay with you making your own. I do like to pass on the knowledge, the things that I've learned over the last couple of years of doing this. I find it helpful to be on YouTube, and I feel like that's the place where most people go to look for help. So what I'm trying to do is put a juice groove on this hickory end grain cutting board. I've thrown a couple of other pieces of wood in there, but I want to focus on the juice groove, and you can see I've already done it here, and this is about as far as I'm going to go with it. I like a little a slim line, and not too deep, but also with some sharp edges. But I wasn't very confident in my juice grooves up until about a couple months ago. I had a friend that needed some on a maple cutting board that he had engraved some big fancy picture in here, and he needed a juice groove on it quickly so he could mail it off. It was for a gift for somebody, and at that point I still wasn't very confident, but a light bulb kind of went off in my head, and I realized that I was using the wrong bit. So what you'll see a lot is a juice groove that uses this rounded bit, and that's fine. That's a nice juice groove, but the problem is there's no point here. So when you're going to set your router bit, it's going to walk wherever it wants to, whatever's the easiest path. I've had trouble with that over and over and over again, and the biggest trouble that I have, other than just the walking, because I've tried to build jigs and all kinds of things, it can get pretty complicated, and a lot of that was just to accommodate this bit. But even more so than the walking, when you're plunging this down, even on a lower speed, it burns. It's going to burn the wood, and if you have something like cherry in there, cherry or maple, they burn very, very easily. So I wanted to show you what I do now, and it is a breeze. It is so much easier than what I had tried in the past. So just having gone through that, I wanted to share with you, try not to use this if you can avoid it. Use a different bit. And so if you want this kind of profile in your juice groove, let's start out with what I'm going to show you, and then you can go to this. You don't really need so much of a point once you already get it started. So what I've done is I have this little compact trim router, basically, from DeWalt. They're not paying me for any kind of a advertisement or anything. That's just what I have, and I'm using this pointed router bit. And so what I do is I turn the speed down. It's a variable speed, so I turn it down to almost 3, somewhere between 2 and 3, closer to 3, and that helps keep the burns, because you can, as you're going, you can even burn, like I said, this piece of maple or the piece of cherry. You can burn those very, very easily. So to avoid that, you slow this down so the bit's not spinning so fast and heating up your board. So I built this little fence, just out of a scrap piece of walnut, and put 2 dowels in it, and I put 2 nails in it to kind of expand the dowels a little bit, because it was just too loose sitting in here. And one thing you might notice is that's not centered. The dowels are not centered on this, and I did that on purpose so that I could flip it either way and get it closer to the bit or further away from it. Excuse me, my compressor turned on. I had to turn it back off. Anyway, so what I've done is I try to get it closer to the bit, and I don't remember the measurement. That's about 7/8, I think, close to it from the edge to the point of the bit. And then what I do, you barely have it sticking out, less than 1/8 of an inch to get started. And so what you'll do is start over here. Well, normally I start here, but so you can see it. You start here. Now you don't have to know your starting and ending points. You just come back, start a little further down, and work your way down here and stop a little bit short. And then you turn your board like so, and then you do the same thing. And then after you've done that, you can see the point where they're going to meet. So when you lower your bit even more, by that point you should be able to tell where you're going to start and stop. So this literally only took me 2 passes with this little thing. I had it done in less than 5 minutes. for me, that is a lifesaver because I sell my cutting boards, and it allows me to have extra options for my customers that want the juice grooves. I know there's some that they have said in the past, if you put a juice groove on it, man, I'll buy it. And it just had me shaking in my boots. I didn't know how to do it. Anyway, this has opened up my world a little bit, and it's given me the option of putting a juice groove on here, and then I can also leave this side intact. I don't have to do any juice grooves on there. And so that leaves me the option, leaves them, the customer, the option of using this side all the time and then displaying it in this way so that they have a nice, beautiful cutting board. Now this one's not finished, so obviously it's going to look a little bit different. It'll darken some when I oil it up. But yeah, so for the juice grooves, I just use a pointed bit. Don't go with the rounded one until you've already got some material out of there. Now you got to keep in mind that this is a much bigger bit. You want to go at it in increments. So really just take the material out with a pointed bit, take more and more material out until you get about to the depth that you want to get, and then go over it with this. But like I said, this is a lifesaver for me. Pretty much all I have to do once I'm done cutting these is just go in with a chisel and scrape out the burn in these corners, and that's about it. It's a piece of cake for me. So I hope that helps y'all because it has helped me tremendously. Thank you for watching.